Alright, so ありがとうございます. Alright, so we got some cheese for part
Yep.
2.
There we go.
And Michael's gonna keep talking while I finish this off.
So unfair.
So tell me some about some challenges that you've had. I mean, so finding the job was easy for you, right?
Well, I will say that it was easy since I had the preparation background on the with the previous experience.
Yeah.
So that was the easy part, definitely.
Okay. And you said your company is an Italian company, right?
It's an Italian company, yeah.
Do you
exactly.
think if the company was not Italian, you would have had a hard time landing a job there?
Well, who knows? Honestly, who knows? I think the fact that the company was Italian helps definitely because I'm Italian as well. So I think my president, my boss, wants to give to the company a sense of Italianization. Let's say they never had any foreign, and nevertheless any Italian working there. So I think for her was also, there was something innovative on taking a foreign person in the company, especially an Italian.
That's so funny though. I mean, Italian company having an Italian employee is innovative. Huh?
Basically, yeah. I think that was the biggest challenge for them.
And going back to the part where you mentioned about, you said, so you came with zero Japanese, like minimal Japanese.
Yeah, minimum Japanese.
Konnichiwa, arigato, that was about it, right?
Basically, yeah.
And how did you really, work with your clients, partners, because they speak zero Japanese? What were some of the difficulties and how did you work with them?
Well, in Italy we said, if you cannot swim, the best way to learn to swim is like be thrown into the swimming pool and you will learn by yourself or you will drown. I learned to swim. It was not easy. I remember the first cold calling I was doing in order to acquire new clients. They were terrible.
So you were cold calling a client. Of course, they spoke zero English.
Except someone, yeah. Every time I still remember when I was calling them, I asked, is anyone speaking English there? So it was, I felt so ashamed to communicate in Japanese. Then you realize 95% of your clients are native Japanese speaker, so you need to speak Japanese.
But how did you communicate with them without Japanese?
Well, as I said, my Japanese was not completely zero. I could give some, I could have some communication with them. It was a matter, to improve. Every day there was, a target that I prefixed in my mind. It was like, I need to learn at least 1 or 2 new words that I can use.
Sure.
Because my work is very practical. So,
Sure.
And listening. Listening my coworker was also a huge help. Listening them, practice with new words, and day by day became easier. I said, not immediately.
Now,
took time.
My biggest question
definitely
is,
easier.
I know like you had basic Japanese to communicate whatever you had to, but the biggest question is, when you were trying to have like a more of a complicated conversation, because you were asking them to buy your products, right?
Yeah, generally, yeah.
How did you have the conversation? I mean, there was a contract element to it. There was, price, and I mean, these conversations are pretty complicated.
It's pretty complicated, but it's not always from my side. It's also from their side.
Gotcha.
If you have we'll say, a client that thinks out of the boundaries, or more specifically, someone that understands the difficulties that you're facing, understand, okay, this guy is foreign, doesn't speak proper Japanese, but I understand what he wants. I want to help this guy. I want to give him a chance. So it's not always from our side, but also from the other side. If you have a client that understands your problem and wants to communicate with you, you want to do business with you, then you're 90% of the hard work is already done.
Interesting.
At least from my opinion.
So you're building trust and rapport even without the language.
Basically, yeah. I mean,
Right.
It's always, it's a matter of, volume. You need to contact many people.
Yeah.
Let's say you contact 10 people, 5 people during the day, you always find someone that at least give you the chance to come and explain what you want to do.
Gotcha. And what is, And in your 4 years here, how did your perspective on Japan change? You said when you first came, it's not like you were, immersed or captivated by Japanese anime or manga. That wasn't part of your initial interest in Japan, but rather the challenge, how distant the culture was from back home. You wanted to challenge yourself.
Exactly.
I mean, when you were off camera, you said this. Tell this camera one more time. Why did you come to Japan again? It was
to challenge the culture, basically.
the military stuff. Man.
The military stuff. Exactly. Yeah, the comparison I made. Yeah. I mean, Japan, but I would rather specifically describe my company was like to serve in the army, basically. Discipline,
like
discipline over discipline.
For people like myself and the others, we came to live the Japanese dream. But for Michael, he came to serve in the military.
I came to serve in the military,
He felt
exactly.
Coming to Japan, so it wasn't all fun and fun and games. It was more like trying to step out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, it was my military academy. I mean, my current job is my military academy.
Not the Hero Academy.
No,
military academy.
at all, totally.
That's funny. Okay. Has that perspective changed after 4 years? I mean, I don't think unless you want to be a full-time soldier serving in the army, full-time military, you would probably leave after 3 or 4 years. Why did you stay, and how has the perspective on Japan changed?
Well, first of all, my perspective is the perspective of a Western, so it's not the perspective of a Japanese person. So for me, it's always, the matter to improve, change, improve. My current company, which is very Japanese, even if it's Italian company, give me a lot. It really give me a lot. The future, it's still uncertain. I would like to change.
What I meant was, so what does Japan mean to you now?
For me, Japan, it's still a challenge. It's still a challenge. Nevertheless, Japan is a country that you will never fully understand at 100%.
And how good is your Japanese now compared to when you first came?
Definitely improve a lot. I mean, the fact to start a new language from basically sentence like the food is good, the child is going to school, and talking about price, talking about cutting material, how to set the material, how to fix the material. So very technical language, background skills. I mean, it has improved a lot, definitely.
Okay, and did you take? You still don't have JLPT, right? You said,
No,
right?
I still do not have a JLPT.
All right. Do you intend to get one sometime?
JLPT is going to be another challenge for me,
let
probably.
me change this way. So you're working full time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You usually start work at what hour of the day?
9. I mean, according with my contract, 9 a.m.
But in reality, from when to when?
In reality, I mean, it's still not bad. 8:30 a.m. up to 6:30 approximately.
Okay. So
it's fair. It's fair.
All right. Having that said, even working full time and learning something on top of that is pretty tough. Are you spending any time to actually sit down and study Japanese, or are you just picking it up from everyday life?
I used to.
How about now?
Now, basically zero, because I mean, the fact that I'm working, let's say 8-9 hours every day with Japanese, it's already somehow a school for me. Not only work, but it's also school.
Okay.
Basically, I learn at least something new every single day. In terms of not only in terms of work, but also in terms of grammar, in terms of language. So, I mean, there are some person it's still able to do that. I mean, after work, going to school, but it's not my case, at least. I mean, I don't have that kind of energy.
I hear you. When I used to teach English, I was pretty amazed by how dedicated these people were coming to learn English after 9 to 6, 9 to 7.
Yeah.
So yeah, I fully understand what you mean. How much longer do you intend to stay in Japan?
Well, for the moment, I do not have a deadline. I think for the moment I will say forever.
Okay.
Then maybe tomorrow, I don't know, I will change idea, but for the moment it's forever.
Is that an extension of that challenge that's going on, or is that
I think, as I said, it's so hard, and sometimes you hate it so much, but you still feel you want to stay here.
Gotcha.
You still, it's
Tell me more
it's
about.
hard, but you like it.
Tell me more about that love and hate relationship. What do you like the most about Japan? What do you like the least, or what do you hate about Japan? Like and hate,
Well,
or love and hate. Yeah.
well, there are many pros and cons. I think the best things I've realized, at least from my working place, is that they are super heavily professional and they help each other. And that's the keyword, protectionism. Working for a Japanese company, of course, it's hard. It's definitely hard, but somehow they protect you. If something happens to you, I'm talking about in terms of work, but also in terms of health, anything can happen. They protect you. They never leave you. They never leave you on your own.
But
This is
wait,
the
you're
best
working
way.
for an Italian company then.
It's an Italian company, but it's super Japanese, my company. I mean, the
See,
Italian things is only the name, I guess.
There's one thing that people misunderstand about companies in Japan. So I used to work for Amazon and Disney. These are prominently American companies. I mean, these are American companies. And just because a company is American, that doesn't mean people speak English or people act American. The
Definitely.
office is in Japan. The common language is generally Japan. Amazon, it's a bit of an exception, but most companies out there, whether it's European, Italian, I mean, if European, there's Italian, French, all these other countries. But no matter what the nationality of the company is, the general norm in Japan is that people in the office, they're mostly Japanese. People, the language that people speak is Japanese. Michael brought up an excellent point where sometimes people think, all right, this company is, Italian, this company is Chinese, Korean, American, whatever. There's a little bit of difference on how
Yeah.
you interact with the headquarters back home. I mean, back home as in their headquarters. But in Japan, it's Japan. You have to take that into the account.
I think, yeah, I mean, protectionism and, they care about details, which can be, sometimes, very frustrating, very boring, but in terms of like when they build up your contract, you have, of course, to make a Kenko Shinran, which is basically health checkup every
Kenko
year.
Shinran, the health check. Yeah.
The health checkup.
It's
So,
annually required.
I think the best way to describe the Japanese company is like a second family. It's really like a
There we go,
second
there we
family.
Even when you're working for an Italian company, because you're in Japan, they treat you like a second family. That's what you mean?
I think, yeah, it's like, I think you heard many times when you join in a company, it's, oh, this is a family business. I think they will never understand what does it mean work for a family as long as they don't work for a Japanese company.
Whoa, that's a good one.
This is the
You're
best
not
way.
working with your family unless you're working for a Japanese
company,
That's-
exactly.
Or working with Japanese people.
I still remember, look, just give an idea.
Yeah.
When I first made the first health checkup, I was a bit, I don't want to do it because I don't want my boss knows about my
Health
condition,
This is quite personal,
Not
right?
that
Yeah.
I have, yeah, it's very personal. And she said, I know how you feel, but remember, I'm your boss and I have the responsibility of your health. That's what she said. Your health is my responsibility. Which is, it's a good thing to hear.
Sure,
you know.
sure, absolutely.
I think it's a good thing somehow to hear.
Let's shift gears. So you talked about what you like about working in Japan. What about life?